caught my brother stealing my money, so I confronted him only to discover a shocking secret that changed everything. Betrayal, lies, and a family torn apart. My first time posting, so bear with me. Apologies in advance for the length. I'm flabbergasted and don't know what to do. I truly appreciate anyone who takes the time to share their perspective. I, 26F, was drugged and SED by my uncle, 47M, after a wedding when I was 20. Backstory. My mom's half-brother. Mike was like a father figure to me my whole life. Always kind, caring, and loving towards me, took me multi-night hikes, skiing trips, etc. He was who I called before signing up for classes, first job interview, etc. Behind closed doors, my home life was a fucking Dateline-worthy nightmare story for another day, so it felt good to have someone in my corner. Mike never, ever made me feel unsafe, sexualized, preyed upon, etc. Flash forward. I'm 20 years old and just broke up with my long-term BF. I was down in the dumps. Mike called me and said his college friends were getting married. My aunt, Mike's wife, couldn't make the wedding. She's a homebody with 2 toddlers. He asked if I wanted to go instead to hang out with him over the weekend. His friends were all getting together to go sailing, to the beach, etc. He said he had a hotel room with a pull-out couch, so I could stay with him. He had already bought the plane ticket and didn't want it to go to waste. I didn't think anything of it and said yes. In hindsight, internet strangers might think that's weird, which is why I gave the backstory. He took me places all the time, wasn't a red flag to me. I flew down that weekend and caught the tail end of the reception/after party. It was casual, nothing weird. He brought me 3 to 4 drinks over the course of like 4 hours, and the next thing I know, I wake up naked in bed, unable to physically move, drifting in and out of consciousness, and he's trying to have sex with me. The next morning, this incestuous excuse of man starts going on and on about how it was best experience of his life, that it's a shame I can't remember what a good time I had, how he had been waiting years for this night, how he can't wait to spend the rest of the weekend with me. Scum of the fucking earth. Oh, and he makes me take Plan B. It's worth mentioning that he folded my clothes from the night before and laid them out like a goddamn display. Fucking psycho. I'm full-blown panic mode and don't know what to do, plus still a bit loopy. I ask him if he can get me a toothbrush from the reception, and when he leaves, I flee for dear life. No idea where I'm at, so I Uber to the airport, call the police, they go to the airport, and I file a report. The police told me it would be my word against his, and that it was weird that I got a hotel room with my uncle. They handed me a crisis hotline number and wished me luck. I was putting myself through college, poor as hell, and didn't have enough money to fly home early. A construction worker saw me crying at the Delta counter and paid for my plane ticket home. He didn't speak English and refused to give me his info to pay him back. I decided right then and there that good things can still happen to me. Mike stole an entire day from me, but he doesn't get to steal my entire life. I got home, got therapy, got my master's degree, got out of the trailer park, and got on with my life. I own a 7-figure business, have been happily married for 3 years to the most amazing, and I think about that construction worker daily. Happy ending. Mostly. I still had to deal with the aftermath of this event. All I wanted was me never having to see Mike, interact with him, or deal with him ever again, and for this information to not be spread around unnecessarily. I called one of my other uncles, Alan, whom I trusted, Mike's older brother by 18 years, and told him what happened. Alan was livid. We ride at dawn, kind of livid. He called Mike, and Mike confessed. However, Mike blamed the alcohol and said we were both just too drunk. No one gets drunk, tried to fuck a family member, and wakes up boasting about how they planned it for multiple years. Alan tells Mike to get right with God and not to come within 200 miles or speak to any of our family members ever again, or else. 6 months later, everyone is back to being one big happy family and invited Mike to Thanksgiving dinner. I confronted Alan, and he apologized and said he felt distraught that the family had been torn apart and wasn't thinking clearly. He called Mike and uninvited him. Recently, I found out that everyone, except for my mom, is still buddy-buddy with Mike, and that everyone knows what happened. Some drunk ex-GF of my cousin texted me saying my family is shitty and that everyone is talking about how I fucked my uncle and now I have the rage of a scorned woman. The rage in me says that I should stay the fug away from these worthless hillbilly rednecks who are condoning insect and roach.